Hey! Welcome to Stump The Idiot Audio Edition. I am the Idiot, aka the Huge One, Dave Koco from KocoSports.com, or, more importantly, ProWrestling.me, where we're trying to build up a community over there of pro wrestling fans. I know there's a lot of communities out there, but you know, I want a community that's nothing but pro wrestling fans. No politics, no religion, no nothing. Just good old pro wrestling escapism. And we're hoping to promote it. Zachary here made the official ProWrestling.me Stump the Idiot thread, and I thank him for that. And I'm going to try this week. I just want to give you a channel heads up. This week we're going to try to make a lot of content for WrestleMania. So I know some people have mixed feelings. Some people are like, oh, a lot of content is good, I'll subscribe. And a lot of people are like, oh my god, it's filled up my feed and unsubscribe. So I'm going to try my best to make a lot of content because a lot of people hopefully will be in the WrestleMania mood. I guess that would be my question to you. Are you in the WrestleMania mood? And I'm going to try to make as much content as I can. A lot of pre-recorded stuff because this week I have a lot of stuff to do, but I was still doing a live Raw review and hopefully a lot of live shows, and hopefully Boom Boom and LK step up their game, and hopefully you enjoy what happens. Now, on ProWrestling.me, I'm going to try to, one way to promote it more is just answer questions while doing videos, and there will be now we have a thread. We also have, you know, a bunch of people asking questions on the blog section, and hopefully I can recruit some, you know, more podcasters and more, you know, personalities and get more people to it, just to have it. I would love to have a place where it's like a pro wrestling bar. You walk in, you feel welcome, you talk about pro wrestling. Who you vote for doesn't matter. It's just escapism. Just go and enjoy. Just a community about pro wrestling. And I don't want to get too big. I'd love, you know, my goal would be like to get, I don't know, 1,000 or 3,000 users that check the site out, and maybe 100 power users, you know, just people that move the site along. That would be a great goal, because once you get too big, then it becomes ha 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 ha, I'm in the business, ha 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 ha, fucking stupid wrestling. It's like, no, I don't know. The way people act online is not how they act in person, and I would love to, and I know we might fail, but I would love to have the goal of the way you act on ProWrestling.me is the way you would act if you met someone in person. And hopefully we can do that. Just a pro wrestling bar experience. Alright, let's get to the questions. Like I said, please sign up for ProWrestling.me, leave some questions, and I'll try to make a video. He decided to go with a bang and has a list of questions, but we'll go across. You got Bull Dempsey is wrestling for Combat Zone Wrestling on April 1st. He'll be wrestling against Sami Callihan. Thoughts about him work on the indies? Getting work on the indies. Now, I know he might want LK's reaction more than mine. I don't like Bull Dempsey because I feel like he's the NXT answer. Like, oh, you like fat guys who can wrestle? Well, we have a fat guy like him. And it's kind of like, no, you don't get it. You don't get it. Like, you know, now they have Kevin Owens, they have Samoa Joe, bigger guys that can wrestle. So I kind of hated Bull Dempsey because I remember all, you know, the Jim Ross type characters that'd be like, oh, he doesn't have the look, you know, and it's just like, it doesn't matter, you know. Hashimoto is amazing. Bam Bam Bigelow, and I know Bam Bam Bigelow wasn't WWE, but I'm just saying there are people with a bigger body type that wrestle great. Bull Dempsey is not one of them. It was like, oh, you like fat guys who can wrestle? Well, here's a fat guy. And like, oh, fuck me. So I am very anti-Bull Dempsey, but him going back on indies, hey, dude, everyone should work. Maybe he'll learn how to wrestle, and he'll be the fat guy that can wrestle. I don't hate him enough to not want him to go to indies, not to find work and all that. And maybe he'll prove us wrong. Maybe, you know, he'll go out to the indies and be like, look, it wasn't me, it was them. I've always been awesome. I'm sorry. I was booked shitty, and that would be a happy ending for everybody. But I don't know. I wish him luck, and I hope he becomes the fat guy who can wrestle that we're rooting for, not just a random fat guy. But one thing I will knock on him is that I've seen press releases, and maybe we'll start posting press releases on ProWrestling.me in a PR section or something like that, where you can pay to be trained by Bull Dempsey. I'm like, that's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. It's like, No, I wouldn't pay to get trained by him. I would pay to go see if he'll have a great match. I'll get paid to see if he'll become a great wrestler. But get trained by Bull Dempsey? Is there fucking something on your resume that I don't know about? And maybe there is. Maybe Bull Dempsey is from Western Kentucky, Daytona, and in Western Kentucky, Daytona, he's fucking having 5-star matches and we've never witnessed it. That's a possibility. Well, then go open up a school in Western Kentucky. But if you're like, hey, I'm coming to fucking the Northeast and you can learn to wrestle from Bull Dempsey, I'm like, eh. Can you send me a highlight package? You know, I mean, if the class is like, this is how you make it to NXT with not knowing who the fuck you are and not having much skill, then yeah, I'll buy your ebook, sir. But if it's like a class and a demonstration, you're like, this is how you fucking wrestle. I'm good. I'm gonna pass on this class. So I wish him nothing but the best of luck. But with that said, everything I've ever seen of Bull Dempsey, I fucking hate. But who knows? I've been proven wrong before, and I love when a wrestler goes out there and proves me wrong and has a great fucking match. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters, is having a great match. But for him just to be like, hey, come pay me, come fucking do it. Like, let me put it this way. I was on the fence about seeing Combat Zone Wrestling on April 1st. I'm like, man, I used to really love Combat Zone Wrestling. I stopped watching it, but, you know, I'll be in town April 1st. Should I go watch it? And they're like, Bull Dempsey's going to be there. That would not help your cause of selling tickets. Like, I'm like, I used to like Combat Zone Wrestling a lot. Haven't kept up with it. Maybe. Bull Dempsey, I'm good. I can do a Koco plays instead. So there you go. How do you feel about Zack Sabre becoming Pro Wrestling Guerilla World Champion? Was it a mistake of Pro Wrestling Noah letting him go? This is tough because I respect Zack Sabre, but I feel, I might be mispronouncing his name, I feel like I don't know enough about him. Like, I've seen him wrestle before in Noah, and I've seen him wrestle in other places, and everything he's ever done, I've been impressed with. But he has a lot of super fans out there that's like, he's the greatest human being ever. And I'm like, I'm not there yet. You know what I mean? And it's not a knock. I'm just not like, alright. And I don't know if it's overhype or hype. I mean, people talk so highly of him. And every time I've seen him, he's had a great match. But I don't speak that highly of him because I don't know enough to give him my seal of approval. You know, like, some people speak about him like he's Okada. And I know a lot about Okada, and I love Okada, and I'll fucking put my seal of approval on Okada. Ricochet, Yuha Nation, these are guys that I've seen wrestle. I'm like, okay, yeah, these guys are fucking amazing. I don't think he's at that level yet. Do I think him becoming Pro Wrestling Guerrilla champ? Yeah. How do I feel about it? It's to me, a bunch of people tell me this guy's awesome at wrestling, and every time I've ever seen him, he's been awesome. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla is kind of in the same boat of companies. Every time I've seen Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, thought it was awesome. Now, I don't think I've ever watched a full show. I've watched matches because of Roderick Strong. And it's like the perfect, everyone says these two things are awesome, and I'm not knowledgeable enough to give my seal of approval on it, but every time I've seen these two things, they've not let me down. So, the only thing is, with Pro Wrestling Guerrilla World Champ, is that my boy, and I've watched Roderick Strong from fucking birth. From birth. Roderick and Cedric Strong came out together, and I was in the operating room. I've been watching Roderick Strong since birth. Hashtag fact. So I'm a little heartbroken that Roderick Strong lost. Because, like, they're like, oh, check out Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. Roderick Strong's the champ. And I'm like, fuck yeah. All right, I'm on board. And then, like, he's not the champ. And I'm like, all right, I'll get there one day. So it's just two things that people say are awesome, and what little I know about them, they've been awesome. So was it a mistake Pro Wrestling Noah letting him go? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know all the details of why I let him go, but I know a lot of Pro Wrestling Noah fans, and they didn't even blink at the idea. They're just like, oh, his time's up. Moving on. I don't know. I can only tell you what I know from hanging out with Pro Wrestling Noah fans. They didn't seem to care. Like, they were like, oh man, that sucks, we're losing a good wrestler. Oh well, let's have a beer. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's one of those things. Was it working? Was it not working? I mean, he's a great wrestler. You're losing a great wrestler. We don't know, you know, but I don't know. And the thing is, I don't want to be those guys, like, let's say Zack becomes a fucking big superstar, and then you go back and you're like, oh, Pro Wrestling Noah had him, and they didn't do anything with them. Then maybe, yeah, it would be a mistake. But as of right now, for, you know, the couple hundred Pro Wrestling Noah fans I know, they're just like, oh, we're losing a great wrestler. That sucks. But in Japan, wrestlers leave and come back a lot, especially foreign wrestlers. So, and I don't know. I don't know the full story, so I apologize. And I want to be honest. We're very honest on Stump the Idiot. I imagine he's welcome back. I don't know. Next, if WWE does right by him, can you say AJ Styles winning the Intercontinental Title, Money in the Bank, and WWE Championship for the next year or two? No. I really worry about AJ Styles' future. And you never know. I mean, obviously, if they do it right, yeah, AJ Styles is worthy of all that. I think WWE did, like, the bare minimum with AJ Styles and said, well, he'll get over like Daniel Bryan. And he didn't get over like Daniel Bryan. And it's kind of weird, because when it comes to CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, they broke the glass ceiling, they did amazing things, and now anyone that, like, can wrestle, you know, internet darling, whatever you want to fucking call them, anyone who can wrestle, they hold them to that standard. So they're like, and the thing is, with CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, we had to fucking, especially with Daniel Bryan, we had to beg them, like, please, for the love of God, put on good fucking wrestling. And they're like, fine, here you go, fucking greedy fans who want fucking great wrestling. So I think they're like, well, every time fucking Cesaro, AJ Styles, Yuha Nation, Kenta, fucking Nakamura, they have to get the reaction that Daniel Bryan got on day one right away, or we're just going to give them the WWE treatment, they're going to go away. And I think it's wrong. I think it's absolutely fucked up. I think AJ Styles, talent-wise, deserves all that. I think some of the booking ideas they had is absolutely horrible. And the biggest fear that I have, and this is just a fan, no insider bullshit, the biggest fear I have is, at WrestleMania, he has a best-of-4 match. That seems kind of fucking weird. That seems like, it's not working, go fucking wrestle Jericho again. I hope I'm wrong. I think he deserves the Intercontinental title, easily. I think he deserves Money in the Bank. I think he deserves a WWE Championship. I honestly think he deserves it all. You know, I've been watching AJ Styles, not as long as I've been watching Roderick Strong, but for a fucking long-ass time. Long-ass time. And, I root for him, and I wish him nothing but the best. But he's a good wrestler. And you get punished for that in WWE. You know? So, like, if you're a good wrestler, and the fans don't fucking hijack or demand or cry and bitch, they're not going to use it. And it's so funny because, like, the people all the time, in the business, fake fuckers. Listen, new rule. Dropping it now. Dropping it. The new rule is, if you don't make $2,000 a month, you're not in the business. I don't care if you're pro wrestling. I don't care if you're selling goddamn popcorn. If you don't make $2,000, it's a passionate hobby. That's it. New rule. But, yeah, I want AJ Styles to do good. I just think that WWE's had it in. They're like, well, he's not as over as fucking Daniel Bryan on day one. Fuck him. He's a great wrestler. You know? And where I was going with the people in the business thing is, they're going to be like, oh, fans cry, and they're greedy, and blah, 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 and they work you. Well, like, here's the thing. Do we have to fucking basically crying fucking that for you to do your fucking job? You know, people in the business, I'm using quote marks, stupid audio show. People in the business, you're fucking like, oh, well, you gotta cry to get your way. Well, think about it. Imagine if, you know, you went to a pizzeria, and if you're like, what the fuck, your fucking pizza sucks, what the fuck is this shit? And then they give you a good pizza, wouldn't you do that every time? And all that, but, like, just imagine, like, the other way around. If, you know, you're someone's boss. And, you know, if you ever had employees, or people that worked underneath you, you got to hit them up with different strategies, especially if they're not good at their job. Like, if they're good at your job, like, it's so weird because good employees get fucked. That's why good employees get fucked. Because you go to a good employee, be like, great job, pal. You high five and you move on. That's it. That's your fucking interaction with good employees. You know? Make sure to take care of them. Give them bonuses. Give them whatever the fuck they want. This is how your bad employees, usually lazy employees. You keep them around because they're talented enough, but at the same time, you're just like, alright, should I be angry with them? Should I be that? And it's, the fans are fucking tired. We're tired of going into the goddamn pizzeria. We're tired of talking to the lazy employee and going, what the fuck? Just do something fucking good. Eventually, you just give up. If you're someone's boss, you fire them. If you fucking you just go to a different pizzeria. You know? And people are like, well, WWE makes the most fucking money. Yeah, but they're losing at so much fucking shit. Now, if you said, is WWE a great business? I'd say, yeah, it's a pretty good business. Good marketing, all that. Not bad. But if you say, is it a good wrestling company? No. Is it good entertainment? No. But that's what they tricked you. They think you're in the business. New rule. You never made $2,000. Yeah, because you know you could be retired. I have made over $2,000 a week in pro wrestling at one time in my life. I don't consider myself in the business. If you don't make $2,000 a month, you're not in the business. So let's eliminate all those people. Well, it's a business. Yeah, okay. Most fucking people, when they are in a business or fucking have a job, make $2,000. If you want to say it's a passionate hobby, and one day you want it to be your business, hey, I'll fucking give you a salute and respect you. But if you're making less than fucking $2,000 a month and you're like, let me tell you what it's like in the business, you're a fucking retard. Shut up. And, you know, as far as fans whining and crying, well, what if you just put on a good product? I don't know. Just an idea. But as far as AJ Styles goes, I think he deserves it. I don't think he'll get it. Of the current Asians in WWE, which wrestler do you think will have the most success? I wish I could answer this. Like, there was a part of me that was like, man, maybe I'll answer this after Nakamura's debut. My answer might change after Nakamura's debut. My guess, I know this is going to sound horrible, Khan will have the best career. And the reason Khan will have the best career is WWE cares the least about women's wrestling, and Kana is, like, leaps ahead of everybody else, so they can be like, well, yeah, we made her, you know, we made her the fucking Divas champ, the women's champ, we don't care about that title, ain't we so great? So as far as, like, in WWE who will have the most success, I wish I could answer this after I saw Nakamura debut, but I'm just betting-wise, putting your money on it. Stock. Who you buying stock in? Who's the Asian wrestler? I'd put stock in Kana first, because her goal of winning the women's title and being successful as the main woman is a lot more feasible. It's an easier goal. And the reason why it's an easier goal is because not only is WWE racist, they're sexist. So they'll be like, well, fuck it. Women ain't that fucking important. Fucking give them the fucking title. Alright, and hopefully that changes. You know, they're going in the right step at this WrestleMania. I would love to see Nakamura and Kenta do great. I mean, they're some of the greatest wrestlers in the world. There's no way they shouldn't be doing great, but it is what it is. If Naito becomes the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, will it be a big deal to see him in the same group as the ROH Champion? I think so. I think it would be huge. How would New Japan and ROH benefit from the World Champions being on the same faction? Oh, well, I think, you know, there's a lot of companies that work together. There's a lot of companies that go, I think ROH New Japan works out perfect because they fucking add credibility to each other, and they're going into different markets. You know, New Japan wants to get into the American market but don't want to risk losing their ass. Hence, the relationship with ROH works. And ROH is like, well, we got the best wrestlers in the world. No, you don't. New Japan has the best wrestlers in the world. But if you can work together, you can be like, well, now we both have the best wrestlers in the world. So, yeah, I think it would benefit both of them tremendously, because both of them are giving stuff to the table. And all that, but ROH, I broke down an ROH New Japan pay-per-view recently. They're a lot better at the booking. You know, and maybe it's because they have a long-term relationship. Maybe they have a good idea. I don't know. But I remember, you know, watching an ROH New Japan thing, and ROH is like, well, we're better than New Japan. It just felt that way in the booking and the presentation, and I was like, that's fucking ridiculous. But now, maybe they have a better relationship, maybe it's more trusting, maybe they have a long storyline. I think they're booking the New Japan versus ROH feuds a lot better. And ROH, you know, can get out to Japan, which is, you know, a huge market, and all that, but a lot of ROH fans are just pure wrestling fans, and they always say we have the best wrestlers in the world. Well, the problem is when you know, every time ROH does build up a company and, you know, builds up a staff, or I guess a roster that is the best in the world, WWE and TNA swoop down and take it. Well, it's going to be hard to keep saying you're the best in the world if TNA and WWE swoop in and take your talent, and it's just business, you know. I'm not player hating on them. But with New Japan, you have some more safety. Now, granted, WWE can come by and try to swoop people up, but, you know, you're banking on it not happening. That's what you're banking on. So I think it helps out both. I think it helps get New Japan's foot in the door in America without risking a lot of money, and it gets ROH more credibility with their fan base and get to be seen on a bigger level in Japan. And Japan is a very big market for pro wrestling. So yeah, I think it would. And them being in the same faction would just help. I honestly think Naito's faction, I apologize, my Spanish is horrible, so I'll just call it Naito's faction. You can make fun of me in the comments. Naito's faction, I think, will surpass Bullet Club one day. I was feeling really strong about it until, shit, I apologize, having a brain fart here. Before the new Bullet Club leader. God damn it, how come I not remember his name? I've been watching him from forever. I watched him in DDT. Man, I'm having a brain fart. I apologize. The Intercontinental Title. Yeah, so with the Elite, I'll just say the Elite. I don't know why I can't think of his name. I apologize. I get punch drunk. I think that really saved Bullet Club. The Elite really saved Bullet Club. But I think eventually Naito is going to pass him. So, you see, even Baby Leonardo agrees. Top 3 wrestlers you'd like to see in the Super J Cup. Would you like to see the winner face the IWGP Champion at Wrestle Kingdom? Yeah, I'd love to see him wrestle. The winner, that's an easy one. This one is a lot harder. Top 3 wrestlers you would like to see in the Super J Cup. I'd love to see Ricochet for multiple reasons. 1, I think he's one of the greatest wrestlers in the world. 2, I always question how deep his Lucha Underground contract lets him be. You know, who can he wrestle for? Who can't he wrestle for? I know he's Prince Puma and Ricochet, and, you know, you see him as Ricochet in Japan still, but you're like, I don't know. So I'd love to see, you know, Ricochet in the Super J Cup, because A, he's amazing, and B, I love Lucha Underground, I love New Japan, but I would love to see a full-time Ricochet and a full-time Prince Puma, and even if they kayfabe it like it's not the same dude, who gives a shit? It's amazing. You get to see more of it. Plus, there's been a lot of internet rumors that New Japan and Lucha Underground will work together, and, man, I'll be in heaven for that, because, you know, I think, you know, you can disagree. I know some people think, like, oh, no, you won't talk bad about him. Okay. I think Lucha Underground is the best television show, and I think New Japan has the best wrestlers. I strongly believe that. You know, I won't always say that if they fuck up, but as of right now, I think it is. So yeah, Ricochet, I would love to see him go in there. ACH, I like ACH a lot, and it's weird because, like, I remember I never felt, like, even with Zack Sabre Jr. earlier, I don't like giving my seal of approval on people so fucking quickly. I'm like, alright, that was a great match. Let's see. I think ACH is one of the people I gave my seal of a fuck approval to way too quickly, and in a good way. There was a story. I don't know how much of this is a kayfabe shoot, whatever. There's a story that I was following, and Beyond Wrestling got a Kickstarter, and people chipped in and paid to fly ACH to Beyond Wrestling, and I found it to be interesting. I was like, man, that's really interesting. You know, it's like, just the fact that it's a good way to use Kickstarter. It makes sense, you know. Like, 'cause some people take advantage of Kickstarter, and it sounds fucking stupid, but I thought this was a really good way of using Kickstarter, and I don't know. I was just I found it intriguing, and then I was like, how good of a guy is he? If people are chipping in to see him at Beyond, so I went out of my way to watch this match at Beyond Wrestling, and I was just like, holy fuck, this guy's amazing. I fell in love with him right away. Now, granted, I'm more of the cruiserweight style, more of the fast-paced style, but I love ACH, and I'd love to see him head over there to the Super J Cup. I think he's absolutely amazing. Like, I don't know. I think he should be one of the, top super juniors in the world, cruiserweight, X Division, whatever. Matter of fact, it's funny because like a couple years ago, I don't even know if it's a couple years ago, it might have been a couple months ago, me and Rob, we did a booking game. We never got to finish. I apologize. We did a booking game where, fuck, what was I gonna say? Where, we were picking the best guys in the world, and now a lot of those guys are under WWE and TNA contracts or, under big contracts. And ACH would be one of my top picks if I was to build a company of free agents / not TNA WWE New Japan guys. ACH would be there. I would try to get ACH. I think he's absolutely amazing, and I would love to see him, shine. And the third one, it's a bit greedy. The first two, they're all a bit greedy, but the first two, I can make a really good point. The third one, I would just want to see Dragon Kid. And the reason I want to see Dragon Kid in it, because A, I love Dragon Gate and don't talk about it much. B, it's my son's favorite wrestler, so it would be kind of cool to, enjoy what. Because my son likes pro wrestling, but if it's not his favorite wrestler, he just walks away. And if it's not Dragon Gate, so it'd be cool, to watch Dragon Kid. And plus, I think he's a pretty amazing cruiser that many people don't know. And plus, I think it would put a lot more eyes on Dragon Gate. I think New Japan has all the eyeballs on it right now. And if you bring in a couple Dragon Gate guys, and I know the Super J is going to be inviting people, and I don't know, what the situation is going to be, but yeah, I would try to get Dragon Kid in there. So there you go. I don't know. I hope he's still wrestling. I feel like a fucking idiot, but that one I want you to give me a pass. Stump the Idiot is asking for a pass because it was my son's birthday the other day, and I want him to see his favorite fucking wrestler in the Super J Cup. All right. Next question. Is it hypocritical of WWE to put The Godfather, a pimp character, in the Hall of Fame but ignore China, who actually did porn? Now, when it comes to WWE and WWE Hall of Fames, I am quick to call them hypocrites. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? No. And I'm one of those guys, maybe a little too much, but it's too much out of honesty. Attack WWE for being hypocrites. It just bugs me. It bugs me, but the Hall of Fame and WWE are very hypocritical about a lot of things. I don't think this is one of them. I think The Godfather is just a character, and China really did porn. Like, China has so many, if you're pro-China, China the wrestler, you're pro-China the country who also watches our show, but if you're pro-China the wrestler, and you're mad because she's not in the Hall of Fame, there's so many more ways to go about it. The Godfather isn't an opening for China at all. It's just a pimp character. Yeah, no. I think China should be in the Hall of Fame. I think there's other people that should not be in the Hall of Fame or should be in the Hall of Fame. I will attack WWE and the Hall of Fame when it's worthy. And even, China does have a lot of great points. And I don't know if this came from China, but I'm saying Team China has a lot of great points. This isn't one of them. This isn't one of them at all. It's a character in real life. Now, if he was a pimp in real life, yeah, that'd be something else. But I also think, I've said this before about the Hall of Fame. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I remember, first off, it's emotional, because I thought I was going to spend my life in the Marine Corps, so, everything after the Marine Corps was just fucking bonus, extra credit, I guess. But I thought I was going to spend my life in the Marine Corps, so it was kind of an emotional day. And I remember First Sergeant came by, and he goes, no matter what happens, no one can take this away from you. And I remember that, and I wish that's how the Hall of Fame was. I think the Hall of Fame should just be about what you did for the company, what you did for the record. Your outside life, yeah, maybe you should lose. And it's tough. Maybe you should lose jobs. If you're a horrible person on your outside life and it doesn't blend in with the company, maybe you should lose. But I don't think it should be like that for the Hall of Fame. I don't think you should be erasing people. I just don't. I don't know. Maybe I'm taking the Hall of Fame a little too seriously. That's a possibility, but I'm just saying things in life, honors in life, should not be taken away. I mean, you still did it. You still did what you did. Now, granted, WWE's Hall of Fame is a bit of a joke, and triple and quadruple standards, and should everybody be in? I don't know. The Hall of Fame, WWE questions, you know, there's so many angles to attack it. There's so many angles to find it interesting. I just don't think this is one of the angles. I think, you know, and I think I don't know. I don't think it's hypocritical. You know, WWE is a hypocritical company. The Hall of Fame is ridiculous. There's so much you can attack WWE in the Hall of Fame for. You know, you can really probably write a whole book on it. I'm just saying this wouldn't make it in the final edits. I don't think this is it. I mean, obviously China has so many more approaches to go about it. You know, Hulk Hogan has so many approaches to go at it. Because when you make something about talent and then you add character and then later your character can change, like, then you're nothing. Like, Hulk Hogan's not in the Hall of Fame. Donald Trump's not in the Hall of Fame. I don't know. Maybe Donald Trump is. I apologize. But I know they took Hulk Hogan out. And it's like, but you still have the Ultimate Warrior? You know? The only thing that saved the Ultimate Warrior's ass is that he passed away. But there's a lot of horrible things he said. But I don't know. I don't know. Should you be judged on talent? Should you be judged on character? I don't know. And none of that. But if you're in, should they be able to take it away? You're a Hall of Famer. Oh, no, now you did all this, and we're going to take it away. I don't know. I don't know. It depends on how serious you take the Hall of Fame. But even if you take it super seriously, I don't see this as being hypocritical at all. And I understand China's point of view, or China Defender's point of view, or Team China. We'll say Team China. I understand Team China's point of view. And I understand they have a lot of great points of why she should be in. I just don't think this is a point. I think, like, so yeah. If the real ECW and WCW didn't go out of business, do you think we would have ROH and TNA? What wrestlers would have succeeded in a real ECW and WCW? This is a really tough one. This is a lot of what-if comic books here, and I like this question a lot. But if the real ECW and WCW didn't go out of business and they go on, no, there would not be ROH and TNA. I mean, ECW would represent what ROH represents, and TNA would represent, you know, I think ECW would have went the way of ROH. Like, I think ECW, if it never went out of business, it would be ROH and the best of Combat Zone Wrestling. I think that's where it would have went. You know what I mean? And WCW, no, there's no need for it. The X division was the Cruiserweight division. Jeff Jarrett would have, you know, and then you can always say, like, well, there'd be no ROH because Gabe would have worked with Paul Heyman. There'd be no TNA because Jeff Jarrett would have worked with WCW. So, like, you know, there's a lot of dominoes here. But I also think from a fan point of view, there would be no need. I think ECW would have went the ROH route, and I think TNA, there would be no need for it. You have WCW. You know, everything in TNA could have happened in WCW. So, yeah, I don't think it would happen. I don't think TNA would exist at all, and maybe it would be an ROH, but it would be completely different in this timeline. Would there still be room for an ROH? Yeah, because ROH came around a time where that's what people wanted. ECW came around a time that people wanted. Maybe in the future, we'll say that about Lucha Underground. When you do something different at the right time, you'll be remembered. So I think ROH would have had a better shot. Because I just don't think TNA did much things different. And I don't. So I think, like, all that stuff that would happen in TNA would have happened in WCW. You know, I just think that's what would have happened. And ROH would have been like, way different. But I don't know. I think ROH would have happened. I just don't think it would have been as impactful. You know? I think ROH and TNA is what happens when a company goes out of business and they have to evolve into something else. That's just my opinion. But it's a hard question to answer because, you know, it's like a what-if comic. It's the butterfly effect. maybe TNA and Ring of Honor would have come, and they would have succeeded and been. I think, like, if you have ECW and WCW never go out of business, and then ROH and TNA come along and compete, I actually think that helps them. I think it helps them a lot, because then WWE doesn't have the propaganda. WWE doesn't, it's still open for competition. It's when WWE has such strong propaganda and WWE has such a huge market share that's like, people don't even give it a chance. Yeah, what wrestlers would have succeeded in real ECW and WCW? I don't know. I could see EC3 doing great in WCW. WCW is a bit weird. Are we talking about WCW in its prime or WCW when it was dying? Because even in its prime, I don't know. WCW is a bit tough because you can be like, well, WCW had a little bit of everything, so fucking anyone could succeed in WCW. But at the same time, no one could succeed at WCW, Oh, without a doubt, what's his name? Brian Cage would have been huge in WCW, I think. But I don't know, they had Mike Awesome and they fucked that up. A lot of it depends on who has the book and all that shit. But ECW is a little bit different because, like ECW, ROH, Lucha Underground, New Japan, they have an image. They're like, oh, well, this is what it is here. ECW, I think the Briscoes would have been huge. The Briscoes would have been fucking tremendous in ECW. I'm trying to think who else. Yeah, Yuhan Nation, Prince Devitt, Kenta, New Japan. Just Paul Heyman took chances on these people way before it was even a common thing to do. And I mean, chances on people, not being racist, but chances of people of international superstars. Chances on people of, great wrestlers. So yeah, I think a lot of New Japan, a lot of Dragon Gate, a lot of the international alternatives would have been rocking it in ECW. It would have been just absolutely awesome. So yeah, WCW is a bit different. I think, they would have a lot more access to New Japan guys, and they would have a lot of supercards. But WCW is hard because, like, at what booking period? Paul Heyman had a vision. WCW vision, just like TNA's vision, that's why they're connected, is just to compete with WWE and out WWE, and WCW did it for a while. I mean, if you go back even farther, like the NWA days, then it's kind of interesting. But then, wrestling has changed so much, I just think with the WCW's money, Ted Turner's money, AOL-type money, EC3 would be amazing. I think he would benefit the most of it, WCW still being around. Everyone else, I think, yeah, anyone can fucking blend into a WCW. It was a 3-hour show, and they had a little bit of everything, and I know that, but I remember WCW when they had all those former WWE guys were so old back then. Can you imagine during the Monday Night Wars when WWF fans were saying, "Wow, look, you got all the old guys," what they would think of TNA today? And maybe that's why ratings are down. And not today, that's not fair to TNA, but like TNA during the Hogan time. So yeah, if Ted Turner never bought Jim Crockett Promotions, what do you think would have happened to the company? It's another what-if comic, but I think, me personally, I think they would just went out of business. Ted Turner was the only one that had money and the balls to be like, hey, let's just fuck with Vince. Vince, not a creative genius, but an aggressive promoter, took everyone out of business. I think if Ted Turner ever bought it, they would have went. Like, I'm almost 99.9% sure. I know what, this would be a great question for Wrestling Rantin'. I'd love to see Wrestling Rantin' here. I know Zachary wants more than just me to answer, so I want to challenge. Matter of fact, I'm going to send it to him. I was going to send it now, but I forgot I'm screen recording. Hello, copy paste. Oh, but yeah, I think they go out of business. Is Juice Robinson a New Japan young lion? Question. Why has he been in upper card to main events where other young lions are stuck in the first half of the New Japan shows? I think he's a tweener. I think Juice Robinson wants to prove himself, and I'm rooting for Juice Robinson. And even Bull Dempsey busts his ass, I'm rooting for him. I love Juice Robinson because when it comes to backseat booking, I believe when it comes to Juice Robinson's character in NXT, if you let a dark writer write that, If I had, like, that's one guy I wish I had control over. Like, sometimes as a booking, you're like, well, fuck it. What does it fucking matter? But then, like, to have a guy with that character and no one give a fuck, and you're like, yeah, just make that character. I would have made TMZ headlines with him. I would have loved to book that fucking character in NXT. But he had the balls to say, no, I'm going to try to make a name for myself. All these fucking indie guys are fucking whooping that ass in NXT. Let me go try. And he went to New Japan. And is he a real young lion? Not really, because he's training at the dojo, but, you know, it's different. It's one of those things. It's like when a black belt in karate, and I'm not saying he's a black belt in karate, but just follow me here for a second. When you're a black belt in karate and you go to a new school and you train with the white belts for a while, yeah, it's really cool, but at the end of the day, they're like, oh no, you fucking are not a white belt. And not that, but also I don't think he's a young lion in a good way towards the young lions. The young lions have to bust their ass in the dojo, and he's busting his ass, I assure you, but not like the other guys. And it's just he has some name recognition and all that. I don't know. I just think it's a respect thing. It's a, hey, I'm in the WWE, but I want to be a young lion. I want to do that. I want to do that. So, yeah. The young lions in a dojo are treated a lot different, a lot tougher, and a long run would be better. And Juice Robinson, I don't consider him a young lion, but I respect what he's doing. I respect what he's going through. I mean, you probably ask 100 wrestlers. 98 of them said I wouldn't have the balls to do what Juice Robinson's doing. They would all just stay in WWE and fucking collect that paycheck. Wouldn't go to New Japan. They would just live off a WWE name. You know, the fact that he went to New Japan takes balls. You know, he could have easily went to TNA. He could have easily fucking did what Bill Dempsey's doing. But he went to New Japan, took balls. And on top of that, going to New Japan and saying, hey, I want to train with the young lions, I want to be a young lion, took balls. But at the end of the day, unlike the other young lions who are stuck being young lions, he's not being stuck doing because he's been to WWE and NXT. That's just my opinion. He has a little bit of name recognition. You know, and, so yeah, I respect what he's doing, I understand what he's doing, but in my opinion, he's not a young lion. I don't know, and that might be a bit controversial, maybe people disagree, I don't know. It's just my view on it. Thoughts on pro wrestlers holding championships more than defending them? This is a tough one. This is a tough one because as long as there's not non-title matches, I'm okay with it. You know, like, if you can defend it, like, because here's the thing. Holding championship more than defending them. Well, if you hold a championship and the Fed only runs every 6 months, well, you know, you can't defend it that much. You know what I mean? As long as you ain't skipping shows. Like, you can hold a lot of championships, and you're like, well, I'm a local champion, and, you know, I'm sure the Hardys, Drew Galloway, TNA, I guess TNA guys that also dabble in the indie world, I'm sure they hold titles all over the country. You know what I mean? I'm sure Drew Galloway has fucking 800 titles. I'm sure, you know, Matt Hardy, you know, has 800 titles. Because they dabble on indies. But it's not their fault. You know, I can't believe I'm defending TNA guys, Matt Hardy, and well, okay, but let's, you know, it's not their fault. If you're a champion and you defend the title when they have shows, you know, miss every now and then, but you defend, then yeah, you should be champions. Now, if they run weekly and you don't show up for a year, but they say you're the champion, now that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's fucking, you know. So I guess it depends on how often you show up. A champion should show up 50% of the time. And as far as defending them, I am anti-non-title. You can ask anyone. I've booked over 1,000 shows, and they'd be like, "Well, what if we do a non-title match?" Nope, we don't do that here. I fucking think non-title matches are the dumbest fucking thing in the world, and I don't. It's not a company thing. Just fucking my stance. I fucking believe it with all my heart. Anytime I've been in creative meetings or ran companies or did anything, that was never even an option. Never. Like, wrestlers sometimes get mad because, like, I got this idea for a storyline. First I do it, nope. Did you just say non-title? Were you about to say non-title? He's like, no, I was about to say ninja. I was like, alright, I'll hear the ninja thing. He's like, well, the ninja guy will beat me for a non-title. No, I knew you were going to say non-title. I knew it! No! You should never have non-title one-on-one matches with a champion. Period. And if you show up to 50% of the promotion's shows and you're, wrestling, an active wrestler, then yeah, you should have the championship. Let's just pick on Matt Hardy. Let's say Matt Hardy wins the title of fucking West Kentucky Daytona. Alright, he's like, I'm the fucking West Kentucky Daytona fucking champion of the universe. And he's like, alright, when's your next show? And they're like, well, Matt, fucking the next show is in 6 years. We go every 6 years. Then yeah, he's the fucking champion. That's not fucking Matt Hardy's fault. That's the indie wrestler's fault. But if, like, Matt Hardy wins the title, and he's like, well, I just won the East Kentucky fucking Tampa title, and you're like, well, we run shows every fucking week. He's like, well, I'm not going to be able to make it till fucking 5 years from now. Then no, that's bullshit. You shouldn't be champion. You shouldn't be champion. And the thing is, having a name like a Matt Hardy or a Drew Galloway or Dustin Rhodes adds credibility to the title, unless it helps. You're at an indie event and the champion goes, well, many people have held this. This is a very NWA thing, by the way. And many people have held this title. Dustin Rhodes, Matt Hardy, blah, 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 blah. If you go to NWA, you can go a lot farther. And for a fan, they'll be like, wow, I know those names. That title must mean something if they held them. So yeah, thoughts on pro wrestling holding championship more than defending them? There should never be non-title matches ever in pro wrestling history. Ever. I stick by that all my fuck. Like, I remember I have friends that are in the business, quote marks, and I'd look at their cards before they went on the air, and I'd be like, no, this is fucking horrible. Non-title matches are fucking horrible. You're a horrible fucking storyteller, horrible booker, and you should be fucking shot in the face. And I've said that to my best friends, so you can imagine when I fucking think of fucking people that barely fucking know doing non-title matches. And as long as the champ shows up to 50% of the shows, then he should be good. And plus you never know, maybe there's a tournament for number one contenders. Maybe, But just, the big thing is people... They're like, oh, well, here's our champion. It's Matt Hardy. When's the last time Matt Hardy came? 1984. When's Matt Hardy coming back again? I don't know. He's not returning our emails, but he's our champion. No. Or the other way around, indie guy Joe is fucking walking around with 76 fucking titles, and he's like, well, if I show up to your fucking Fed, indie guy Joe's going to lose the title, so I'm just never going to show up again. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Alright, so please sign up for ProWrestling.me, ask me questions. This week we're going to try to do a lot of content. Hopefully I can get to it. Zachary, thank you so much. I will send some of these questions to Wrestling Rantin', and hopefully other YouTubers jump in. Hopefully we can build a community. I think people try to build a community, but not a community of bullies / I don't want to say bullies, but a combination of like third grade bullies and nagging wives. Not a community of that, but a community of fans talking and fucking talking about something they love in pro wrestling. So hopefully we can do that, and hopefully other YouTubers jump in on board, and other podcasters and all that. Let's bring back the community. I know, like, WWE and propaganda and people like, oh, WC thinks! But normal fucking human beings don't think like that because they're not fucking retarded. So, like, comment, subscribe. Please have more questions, and hopefully there's a lot of content coming your way. ProWrestling.me! With that, I am over. Boom, 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 boom.